we all believe the same thing about the plant, and we think it can change culture.
The burning weed with its roots in hell. It is
Removing the stigma thread.
The message is out there. The flame is getting hotter.
And we're trying to turn that light on where we are in our community. What does this mean?
The Greenhouse Podcast.
Wait, it's a leap year. So
It
the last day
is.
of
Tomorrow's
Yeah.
still February.
Tomorrow's still
Nice.
February. That's it.
Whoa.
Kind of feel like you should make a difference tomorrow. That's like an extra day.
You get
in
one
the
more
year.
day?
So
Yeah,
you gain a day.
What I'm trying to figure out, does that mean more payroll for me on the year?
Yes.
Is
It
that
means
an extra day of labor? I
You
gotta
make more
cover?
money, dude.
I don't know how I feel about that.
It means you get to continue to, or just employ people on an extra day.
Right.
That payroll,
And that is the
February
blessing.
29th.
Yeah, February 29th.
Why is being responsible for payroll one of the biggest stresses?
Because people to rely on that to
Yeah.
survive, right? Like
Right.
they
That's their money.
use that to feed their kids and
Yeah.
pay their rent and mortgages and payroll is a real stress in life for sure.
A real
It's
stressor.
a real stress.
I gotta pay this roll out. Roll that peg.
Goes out faster than it comes in, right?
Roll.
Jeez.
You know, that's what we talk about on the Greenhouse Podcast, though. You know, depressing things like
Right?
payroll.
Let's get depressed before we can
Go
get
up.
excited. Yeah.
That's right. We talk about real things.
Everyone out there listening, thank you so much for tuning back in.
100.
We've been gaining some support. It's been beautiful. Love you all. Thanks for tuning in. We're talking about weed in Central Texas.
Braunfels, Texas.
Boom.
Back at Green Records one more time.
Green
That's
Records.
right. Green Records. Give
Home
it up.
base,
Give it up
home
for Green
base.
Records.
Josh,
Sir.
big things surging right now in Texas.
Yeah,
some
Texas,
things are happening.
Texas is this place to be, from what I hear. Every time I leave the state,
Yeah.
I keep hearing that. So,
But,
Yeah.
but there's some laws that happened this week, some changes. But you both kind of seem skeptical about it.
So in Texas right now, so one of the things that I feel like we're the people who follow us want to know what's going on in Texas cannabis. Right? They want to see it through our eyes, experience it, and then boom, educate their communities or whatever, what have you. So whenever there's a law that changes in Texas, I love it. You know, we get tagged and we get, people text and stuff.
Right.
And it's so awesome. So recently a law changed that Texas would no longer prosecute misdemeanor marijuana charges. So like a misdemeanor is like under 2 ounces.
but under
Right?
2 ounces just started last year, right? I think that was a new law
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Texas. So
So-
they're going back a year, give or take. But yeah, I mean, it's hooray for Texas, right? Like, what does that transition to in the real world?
Explain that again. They go
Right.
back a year.
So the misdemeanor charge is as of, I think, January 1, 19 or January 1, 18, give it a year or two.
Right.
Up until that point, the misdemeanor was like, I mean, my buddy had a roach, he had 5 years probation for a roach in the early 2000s, right? So it was and still is really real in Texas. Like the chief in San Antonio, when that law was passed, actually came out on the news and said, "Got a joint? Go to the joint." That was his stance on marijuana in San Antonio.
Yeah, I think I heard that.
Yeah, so even though the law had changed, that was his. I mean, so when you start looking at local
What a shit
municipalities,
catchphrase.
The worst.
You got a joint, you go to the joint, man. Yeah, but so they're only going back until 2019 because what we're talking about is that people were arrested for CBD pre-rolls. That happened. We've got many, many friends who have been hassled at the very least, arrested at the worst for a CBD pre-roll or CBD concentrate product.
Right.
And the fact is, the infrastructure isn't in place to test for that. And so the Tarrant County DA's office,
Tarrant County. Shout out.
That's right.
T-town.
It took a brave
T-town.
woman,
Shittiest
a
place in Texas.
logical DA to say, you know what? We don't know if this is a crime or not. We don't
Right.
know if it's illegal. So take this shit off our plates and let's keep it moving.
Yeah, they don't want to fuck with it. The hard part is they, like you said, the infrastructure's not there. They can't test on the side of the road, right?
No.
So when they look at it, they smell it, like it looks identical. Like without actual laboratory testing, you're not going to tell the difference.
No.
No. There's no way.
Unless it's like one of us,
Right.
like dressed up in cop uniforms because we strip on the side.
Yeah.
All right, that might happen. Excuse me.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
I need to see this pen.
Like I've heard of imposer cops like doing bad things.
Yeah. And especially on the
23% THC.
so
You're going in.
I can taste it.
Yeah. Speaking about fake cops, so they arrest. This is totally scope drift, right? Do we have a scope drift? But they had one of the Mexican cartels or mafia. They arrested a dude, pulled him over, and then found duffel bags in his trunk with CPS, which is our local electrical company, outfits, police outfits, fire outfits, paramedic
And the transporter.
Yeah, like
they
it's
caught
real
him.
out
They're called
there. Yeah, they caught him.
costumes.
So when did this happen?
Oh, this was years ago, maybe 5 years ago.
Oh, what a cool! I wonder where he is now. What a cool
story.
character,
Who
right? We got to
knows?
find
Yeah,
that story.
yeah.
What's the story behind the story on that one? Huh?
All right, back on track. So
like that, I
the
like
cops
that.
on the side of the road
Yeah.
have to send that out, right? So if they bust you with an eighth or a joint or a gram, it costs them $299, $399 to send it out to get lab tested.
Right.
No municipality wants to deal with that. Like it's just a waste of
Yeah.
time. So they're
We don't have the infrastructure.
nobody does. Yeah. And in Texas, you have a different municipality every 3 miles, right? There's small police departments, and where we're at, it's 3,000 people gets its own police department.
Yeah.
Right?
What are you gonna do? Build a lab for all that? I mean, you need so many.
It's ridiculous. So they have to start to wake up at some point, right? And start saying what's reality and what's achievable and what's not.
They do. I think that just to take that even a step further is, can we please wake up to what we really believe about this plant in this state? Because there's just, we know everybody supports it. There's no question. Even, the most Baptist Christian Texan, also believes that, the Lord put things on this earth for them. And they're also listening to their girlfriends talking about this new CBD cream that they got. You can't look away. It's all over Texas. Yeah. We love it. I think we need to have a real conversation about, how do we want to treat it by, coming to a place of understanding though first. That's what we need to do. And I don't know how. I
think the only way how right now is to look to the leaders and ask one of the leaders to step the fuck up. And we've seen some do it recently, and just even in the presidential debates, but and it's amazing that it's made it to that level. And it's a president's trying to get elected, so he's certainly saying this. Thank you. I'm glad that it is there, but it's got to be even more local than that. We need Texas representatives. There, Roland Gutierrez, he's awesome, but I think he needs to be make his platform the plant.
Right. Well, like Peter touched on the other week when we had our pod, the more ticks to normalize it that we get up on the board, the better off
it's a
we
win.
are. Right?
I'm not discounting.
Yes.
Downside being, once it goes federally legal, we miss out as a state.
Yeah.
Like Texas won't have the opportunity to have local entrepreneurs step in and start their own dispensaries, start their own farms, start their own processes.
Talk more.
So it's
More, please.
Why?
Tell us.
Well, because
Tell
once
us.
it's federally legal, the big boys come in, right? Johnson & Johnson is like, oh, I don't have to risk my Fortune 500 company. I'll try a product or two, or I'll buy a farm or two. I'll buy an extraction lab or two.
This doesn't work. This position doesn't work. I'm sorry. I was like trying new angles, and I was like, "What am I doing? Get out of there!" I'm sorry, Josh.
No, it's cool. We lose our foot ground or our foot holding as independent entrepreneurs because there's no way we can compete on that level, right? Nobody can compete. So the stuff that California's had, entrepreneurs in California have had 30 years to kind of ride the wave and test the grounds and get this plant to the people, right? From the people to the people. Once these big corps step in, Forget about it. Synthetic marijuana left and right,
No.
and
Yeah.
FDA approved prescription drugs that contain cannabis.
Yes,
and,
yes.
We just know where
We
it's
got to
at.
make the
Right.
plant fit
We-
through the system.
Look,
Right.
we know where it's going. I mean, that is a very, very bleak future that you paint. Thank you.
Sorry.
No. Let's just not at
You know,
all.
though,
No, it's not
that is the truth, as you see it. But I've got to step in with a little silver lining.
Please.
That shit's going to take a long time. Those motherfuckers move slow as shit.
But you have to understand, they've been moving.
They've been
Marlboro.
they've been outflanking.
Right.
Two
They're setting up-
wah-wahs.
right. Wah, wah. But Marlboro, on the hill in California, they've had 2,500 acres since the late '90s, and they've done nothing with it. And you don't own 2,500 acres to grow tobacco in Northern California these
No.
days, right? That's not a thing.
What
So
about kale?
they've been flanking. They've been setting up the perimeter, and once they put that little lock on the gate, it's going to be tough to work around it. So not to bring you down.
Yes,
We
no.
Listen. Hey, listen, that's
And
real.
again, like
I
you
don't
said,
wanna-
my outlook, Peter's outlook, people I've talked to that I really look up to in the space.
Yeah.
They everybody kind of knows that's the direction, right? At some
Mm-hmm.
point, the people who we're gonna be taking money away from are gonna want their money back.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
what it boils down
Holy
to.
shit.
Right. They're not gonna want to let it go.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you
that's
for the dose
brilliant.
of reality.
Yeah, that is, and it's brilliant too. It's so well said because it's just nice to have that insight. I think that we have to somewhat just stay optimistic that this is all
course.
centered around a plant,
Right.
That truly connects us, and I think that's like this for me. That's my silver. That is my, at the end of the day, I can reduce all the actual system that's in place and that continues to sort of aggregate cannabis into it. At the end of the day, the plant has these little victories that just break all that
Right.
shit down.
And the
Yeah.
crazy part is, even though I believe that the nucleus of this industry is the hippies, what I call the hippies. They started as hippies. I'm a modern day hippie. We're all modern day
Yeah.
hippies.
You are.
They've been the nucleus of this industry, right? This industry has been an industry, we've said it over and over, since before it was legalized. It was a full-blown multi-million-dollar industry in the U.S. before any big money got behind this kind of stuff.
Yes.
So a lot of the deal flow within the industry happens between those hippies.
Yeah.
Because the suits and ties that come in, they're blatantly in it for one reason, right? And it's not for the betterment of society or the people.
They don't
or what
believe
the
like we
plant-
believe.
Right. It's monetary. Go ahead.
You just made me think then all of these regulations and a push for regulations and lobbying for regulations could just be about new cannabis money wanting to fuck up the processes of old cannabis money, right? I'm going to change the fucking rules and I'm going to slap you with a $1.5 million fine. This happened in Canada. I
Last
saw,
week, I think,
yeah,
right?
last week, and yes, it was an illegal dispensary in Toronto, and I guess the manager was held personally liable.
Really?
Too, yeah. So okay, so you're gonna bankrupt and break somebody. I mean, I understand finances are a great deterrent, and you shouldn't be breaking the law. But there's got to be a better way.
But there's hundreds
Yeah,
of
and
these.
it's just new drug dealers.
Right.
I was just like, oh, it just sounds like we've got some other people who figured out how to make money on this, and so they're gonna fuck you.
Right.
And it's just it doesn't feel good.
No, it's ugly. It's ugly.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, it's brutal out there, y'all.
Brutal.
It's brutal.
But what about CBD? What about the CBD business industry? I mean, you are, you know your shit.
Right. I thank you. I thank you.
Talk to us about the vibe there. And
So again, just out of my brain, but we have three sectors in this industry, and this is really cannabis as a whole. So not just CBD, but it pertains to CBD. But you got the recreational side, right? You got the medicinal side, and then you got health and wellness, which is what we're all in it for, right? The betterment of everybody as the planet in its entirety goes. But the recreational and the medical, if you really look at it, it's all medical. Like no matter what, if you're smoking just for recreational purposes, guarantee you there's medical benefits wrapped up within that. This health and wellness sector, though, is going to grow and grow and grow, and it's gonna be bigger than CBD, THC, it's gonna be plant-based health and wellness, right? Like we're at a shift in the paradigm where we're in this technology and this energy of like sucked into the screens.
Yes.
The next generation is gonna be a lot more conscious, a lot more green, a lot more. It's gonna come full circle.
Yeah.
So that health and wellness sector is just gonna boom, 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 and it's gonna kind of gobble up all of the separate entities that exist as far
The
as
outflankers.
the
it's going to outflank
gonna
the
outflank
flankers.
the flankers, hopefully, right? Fingers.
You got to outflank the flankers.
But it's so that is gonna increase the opportunity for entrepreneurs, for new people to the business, people that are interested for the right reasons. And I think like right now, just in Texas, we're seeing such an onslaught of CBD specific stores opening with CBD in their name, or you know, this and
or
that.
Canna in their name.
Right. What happens next year when CBD is the old dog in the room and it's now CBG? You now become so-and-so
CBN.
CBG, CBN, CBC.
Yeah.
But see, that's businesses being created that sort of, again, can help amass that gobble up scenario where it's like, enough of this system, we're going to make the new system and just outflank the flankers.
Right.
And, what I'm hearing is that in order to succeed in this industry, you must think, 2 years ahead.
Oh, easily.
You absolutely do. You have to be real about what you know. And that's a thing I think that I see, unfortunately, time and time again. Having conversations with leaders of industry and people who run companies and advocates and things. And it's only what you know. And you've got to be cognizant of that and constantly seeking more knowledge. Like it doesn't ever stop.
Never.
Once you put down your first $100,000 on your what is it? Oh, CBD today. Sorry. Your CBD store today.
Right.
Tomorrow it's going to be something else. So maybe think about signage, maybe think about branding is what you're saying.
Yeah. Oh,
it's not about
100%.
like, don't right now. It's about like, just recognize that you're a fucking young Padawan.
Right. Yeah.
You are learning. We're all learning together. You want to listen more than you want to talk.
Right.
I can't tell you how many of these store owners will just talk to us about what they have. And I'm so excited because they're feeling the gospel. They're feeling it.
Right.
And that's great. But I'm also like, you've just drunk the Kool-Aid. Your community doesn't know that Kool-Aid exists.
Right.
And they're not trying to drink that Kool-Aid.
They've been programmed not to drink that Kool-Aid. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So thinking about the future, thinking about, oh shit, Liz, I don't know if there's going to be fucking whatever. Okay, good. Act like it.
Right.
And you will be successful.
Let's just say the fact of the matter is the CBD industry is the fastest growing industry in the world right now. Huge, something like 50% growth rate. Like it's just stupid numbers.
Can I just I want to add, and then we're jumping right back to what you said, because it works. You can't take that away from it. It fucking works. It's working. I'm sorry. So where you were going? Like it's growing because because it works.
Let's get back there. Where were we going?
CBD growing. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
no,
we're talking about
you're
the
good.
fastest growing industry in the entire world.
Back to that. Yeah, you have to, which is awesome because I'm starting to see more and more Texan-based owners outside of the state, right?
Yes.
I'm seeing them at conventions. I'm seeing them getting involved. Education, back to what you were saying, Liz, is the most vital portion, right? I've been in this industry since 1991. Born and raised in Los Angeles, California. I've seen the complete legalization of things out there. I am still constantly, put it this way, I have been so wrapped up on the business side of things that I haven't been able to make it to as many conventions as I wanted to in the last few months to absorb more knowledge, meet new people, network, get the ins and outs of what's going on. Because this is such a fast growing industry, it changes like that.
Yes.
And if you can't pivot with, we all know cannabis, right? Kush is hot, then it's not, right? It takes 8-9 months to grow a crop of Kush.
Yes. Yeah.
And if you crop or harvest and it's not hot anymore, guess what? Your projections of what you thought you were going to get and how fast you thought you were going to get it are out the door, right?
Yeah.
So that's where these hippies come in, and they can navigate the deal flow and kind of ride the waves and pivot because we've been doing it for so many years. Like it's not a new concept to us.
This gray market.
But a lot of these, these entrepreneurs are getting in and they're like, holy shit, I put in all this money into this because it was hot and now it's not hot.
Right.
What do I do? Like,
Right.
what are these are issues we've had forever.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely. God, it's so refreshing to hear that. And, I think that's why Patrick and I were just like so drawn to you when we would see you at conferences, because you weren't talking.
Right.
You were like rolling around just learning and listening and learning and listening. And then when we would engage in conversation, you would always kind of like, fun fact, seriously.
Right,
but
right.
it's because it is it's a knowledge quest for you.
Constantly.
And that is just so goddamn refreshing. And, ironically, that's how people learn,
And it's
Love it.
it's staying
how we
open to that energy. I think kind of what I just heard you say is anyone who's getting involved in cannabis right now, like, welcome, right?
100.
The
100.
main thing you should be spending money on is your network and your power of knowledge. And if you're not going to these conferences, if you're not meeting as many people as you can to understand who's doing what and how you can help the rising tide, you're doing yourself a disservice.
For sure.
And that's not just the business; that's the social side of it too.
Right.
And thankfully,
point.
cannabis brings it all together.
For sure. And a lot of these companies that aren't engaging in such a fashion are sending out emails to manufacturers or to different companies to get products made. These companies are going bankrupt and they're throwing in the towel, right? Because they get hooked up with a white label company and they get a shitty product or something that's hot or something that's not what it says it is.
Right.
That factory is not giving them a money back guarantee on the product.
No.
And then they're stuck with product that they can't sell consciously with a good heart. So they end up in this catch-22 of, well, all my money's in this product and this company sent me bullshit. They close. So getting out there, getting face-to-face, we at Green Cross, so this is a huge thing for me, but we do not engage with any other company unless I've met them face-to-face. Like, if you tell me you have a 100-acre farm and you can sell me this product, or I can do this, I can do that, I literally, nothing gets done over the phone or email. I'm flying to you. I'm sitting down in your office. I'm walking through the whole operation because supply chain is vital. If right now there's no regulation. So if they fuck up, you eat it. So you got to be conscious of where your shit's coming from, what you're selling, and who you're getting it from, and where their hearts are at.
Can they do what they say?
Right, and can they scale? Because as you boom and grow, the boom is rapid, right? When you're riding the wave, it's can they scale with you and keep up, or does the quality suffer, or do they run out of product and now they got to go to their neighbor and you've never met them?
Or are they going to half-ass everything? Right,
just to fulfill.
You got to
So
get that energy read.
Right.
You got to get that energy.
That's what it is. That's exactly what it is going and getting that energy read.
For sure.
Knowing that you're in this this is your life. You're not fucking around. We're breathing the same air right now. Like, that is just so key. You can't cut corners.
Nope.
And that starts with just doing your research.
So that being said, back to the boom and entrepreneurs, like, we fully, like, right, all of us are like, everybody do as much as you can. Let's spread the gospel and let's get this out there.
Zealots.
At the same time, there is an influx of people who are like, give me the cheapest product with the highest margins. I don't care. I just want to sell it, make money. Those are the cancers that we got to get rid of. That is the stuff that hopefully doesn't withstand the test of time.
Truly.
Yes.
Well, and I do think the market will work those brands out. There will always be a place for those brands in the market because those are the base level. At the very least, if you're not cutting it with some bullshit, if it's MCT and, you're just really trying to make the best margin and you've got good stuff. Thank you for socializing this concept and putting it at a price point that some people are more comfortable with, But I truly believe that the market will attach themselves to those brands that align with their own values or their own, reflection of self.
For sure.
When it comes to health and CBD and THC and just this plant in general. We're in a really exciting time right now. We're not just bringing a product to market, but we're helping to create the market. The thought leaders in this business, there's a podcast for that.
I think it is, we are all trying to tell the people who are coming to it, especially the gold rushers who come in suits,
Green rushers.
Yeah, the green rushers. Yeah, the green rushers. We're all trying to tell them is to like take a second and breathe and get in here with us.
Breathe this plant in.
Yeah, breathe this plant in. Actually smoke the plant. Get in on it and like just localize. Like I think localization, sustainability. This is what the plant when it affects you. I think makes you think a little bit more societally, and so it ties in very much with that idea of localization. Like where are you getting your food from? Like where are you getting your weed from? Where are you getting your medicine from? And the more we can continue to make society localize, the better we're going to be. As we go city, state, and then country. And so I think this is like a new idea of, can cannabis be artisanal and sort of break that barrier of like, it's really not going to be a McDonald's of cannabis because wherever you grow it affects what it is. And it's more of smoking it because it's an experience for me, or it's a tool for me, or it's a medicine for me. And I use it for all of it. It's about that experience for the person. And I am hoping that just the plant alone will beat all that out because of what it is.
Well, I think the longevity of cannabis in the United States is artisanal. Like artisan products that are local and that you can put your finger on where it was grown, how it was grown, is going to be the niche that the U.S. has over the rest of the world when we look at a global market. Right? We can't compete with labor with South America. No. We can't compete with a lot of things on a global scale. But we are the North America.
We like our bougie weed.
We love it. We love it, right? And it's been bougie for a minute.
Sorry, not sorry.
And the master growers there's master growers everywhere, right? But the weather, the climate, as we're talking about microclimates, the West Coast is the shit. Like that's just where it is, from north to south, from the Pacific Northwest.
Everybody loves Cali weed, especially from that triangle, from that area, that Mendocino.
Yeah, like and that is, therein lies their value.
Right.
That is their value. And that's not, Walmart cannot take that away.
But let me say this, when we get into California is a prime example, statewide it's legal, but at smaller municipalities it's illegal to have dispensaries or grows. So I think there's very few regions that actually allow growing on a large scale, dispensaries to be in place, but permitting, for example, right? A 73-acre cannabis farm. And you have to get a license for indoor grow. You have to get a license for outdoor grow. You got to get a license for transporting.
Where is this? Where is this?
In Northern California, in the Triangle. So up in Trinity County. So Trinity, Humboldt.
They call that vertical integration. Correct, vertical licensing.
Vertical licensing.
Licensing, yeah.
But you're looking
you have to
at
license for every single thing.
Yeah, $20,000 per license, $22,000, and
climb
then
this mountain.
That's at the state.
Oh, but you guys, they have the best social equity programs. I'll have you know. What?
Yeah. No.
So who's making the money in Cali?
Right, and
it's definitely not those growers,
it's already
those small growers.
Squeezed out the artisan growers that
41%
don't do
taxes.
It's stupid.
To do it legal.
Stupid.
What are you doing?
How does that
Cali?
work?
I know. It's like, so what is the message you're trying to send?
Right.
Like it's very, very, very fucking confusing. And
so Texas has to look out. Texas has the advantage of being 15 years behind the West Coast in all reality. Like
we've talked about that behind the times optimism.
Right.
Maybe this will work out. Maybe we'll get it just right.
Right. But again, the concern is we miss out. That if it goes federally legal, we don't get to play the game.
Yeah.
Right? We don't get to partake in a lot of things.
Well, we will get to figure out. We will immediately have to jump on how we're going to localize the tax.
Right.
But we won't if we don't. Is what he's saying. If it federalizes first, if it becomes legal federally first, then we lose out on the ability. We could potentially lose out on the ability.
Right. So the farmer in California that has to pay $100,000 in licensing fees had 28 years to grow pot illegally to raise those funds to get to that point.
Right.
If we go, boom, federally legal, $100,000 to grow, you and I are like, okay, let's go find an investor. Let's find these money people. Like it puts the big money people who are setting up those positions on the flank the time to just shut the gate right out of the gate. Fuck. Sorry.
You just blew my mind.
Right.
That is
wow. That's important to know.
That's
right.
Very important
That's
to know.
super important to know and to understand.
Yeah. So we have to vote. So it just all
and
comes
I don't
back.
vote. I hate voting.
I
I hate
know.
politics. I hate at a state level, at a city level, at a federal
The plant
level.
needs you though,
I
because
know.
the people who are against you, we'll just put it in black and white, are voting. Think about
Right.
it like that. It's just something that you must
But then do we go down the conspiracy holes of like all the electronic voting machines are owned by the redheaded stepchild
No.
Bush brother? Like the Bush family owns the electronic voting machines.
Dude.
And
No.
Okay.
What I think is yes, that is
W would have told us.
what I
W
think-
would have told us.
dude. It's probably true.
Right.
It's probably fucking true.
You
Right.
gotta do
But
what you gotta do.
These people
Liz told. I'm sorry.
No.
Liz told me something this morning, or she mentioned something on our live stream this morning, which was
gonna be good.
that biscuits are better warm. No, sorry. You said 100 million people, 100 million registered voters didn't vote in the last election.
Yeah.
Regardless of your politics, regardless.
We'll check those numbers.
right.
No.
No, it was it was
Huge
definitely.
number.
Yeah, it's a gigantic number.
And
What that tells me is that there are a lot of people out there who are dismayed with this system of two parties. So if that's the case, then literally go vote for dog food for president. Like it does, like go put your vote out so that they
Yes.
have to read. 100,000 people voted for Beetlejuice
Yeah.
in Texas. Like what
Bring
was that
it back.
what was that movement about? I mean, we have to start voting.
Right.
And for me, it's voting for the plant. So if
Yeah.
there's a president out there who's literally like, I am King Wizard O'Leary, the 37th God, but I'm
He's
also
got your vote.
and I'm running for president because my platform is the plant. Elect him,
Right.
I love it.
or at least put him on the map so that everyone can see. Oh man, the weed voters came out.
Yeah, politics
Yeah.
are
But,
hard
I
for
mean, who
me 'cause
cares?
as awesome as that guy is and as behind him as I get, he has other things that are just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
But nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect,
I
for
gotta
sure.
quote Hannah Montana. Nobody's perfect. You gotta work it. Okay, you gotta work it again and again to make it right.
Miley, yeah.
All right, but it's like, okay, it's humans, right? Nobody's perfect. These, we've gotta get as much support rallied as possible for what we believe in, and what we believe in is this plant.
The plan.
So we'll figure it out. We'll pick you up.
Please.
And we'll bring breakfast tacos.
Put the optimism back in.
I will. I'll bring you a blunt and a breakfast taco.
As long as they don't touch.
Yeah. You can't smoke a burrito blunt or a
burrito?
blunted burrito.
No.
My friends, we're keeping it real in Texas.
That's right.
We're fighting the good
What
fight.
we do.
We
Feels good.
got to continue.
Feels good.
Guys, check us out. Greenhouse Podcast on everything. It's on all platforms. Go download it. Follow us at Greenhouse. What is our podcast?
Greenhouse Podcast.
At Greenhouse Podcast.
On Instagram. On YouTube, we're the Greenhouse Podcast. On the WeedTube, we're the Greenhouse Podcast. On High Times TV, we're the Greenhouse Podcast on the Grow House channel.
Soon to be just Greenhouse Podcast.
Yeah, so guys, you don't have an excuse is what we're saying. We left breadcrumbs all around. John Sally dropped this week. Anyway, this is
Yeah. No, good. Yeah.
Peace out, y'all.